Okay, so this is pseudocode to Python according to the Cambridge International AS A-Level Computer Science course. Let's talk about files. So what do you need to do with a file? You need to open a file. You need to do stuff with the file, like read the file, write to a file, uh, one of the two, not both. Iterating through a file, so reading each line or writing to iterating through a data structure and writing each line, and then closing the file at the bottom. Um, just to clarify what we're talking about, typically is a text file, and you will have some program that will store some data, and the idea is that you will write and save programmatically to a text file like this, so a file with a TXT file type. Okay, let's maybe start with the pseudocode. So we first of all need to open a file. So for example, if the file is called data.txt, we need to give the file name and then for read. When we finish with the file, we're going to close the file, because otherwise you get issues with memory if the file stays open in memory and another program tries to interact with the file, then you will get problems. What's like a common design pattern? Well, we want to read each line in the file. So the pseudocode for this is to say, while not end of file, data.txt, let's do something in a loop, and let's loop through each line. And then we've got this function readLine, right? Which allows us to, function, it's not a function, it's a statement, which allows us to take a file and then read the line. And the way this works is every time we read the line, there's a pointer inside the file, and it will automatically move on to the next line ready for us. That's how files work. Well, that's how the read line statement works in Cambridge's pseudocode. What might we do? Let's just output the line in the file. So interestingly enough here, we don't need to store the file inside any sort of variable, but we are using a variable here. So if you watch the other videos, you need to understand that whenever we have a variable in pseudocode, we need to declare it before using it. So this is a read all lines from the file algorithm. Look at how that would translate directly to Python. So first of all, let's do it like CIE style, and then let's do it like the Pythonic way of doing it, which is still acceptable in your Year 13 Paper 4 exam, and I would suggest you do it the Python way. So I don't need to declare, I do need to open. The difference in Python is that we make a variable to store the file as data. And my mode here, the file mode, is an R, right, for read. I can then say something like, while we don't have this EOF function, but we do have a way of detecting the end of the file. So in Python, let's just say while true, let's do some tests, while true, and let's use file.readLine, which is a method inside the file, but the same sort of syntax. And that's going to give us this line variable. And let's print the value of line just with an infinite loop for now. Let me save this so I can use it as some test data. This is my data.txt. Save it on the desktop. And let's test the program. So what we can see now is that the loop will run infinitely once we've read each line from the file. But the value of line can be used here if we want to imitate the Cambridge pseudocode. Let's try to work out what is going on. We get a special character that we can't see right now. So let's just add some testing code for I inline. Let's print the value of the ASCII value of I. And let's see if we can see what the new line character looks like, or the end of file character. So when we're printing Bob, we're printing the ASCII values 98, 111, 98, and then 10, which is new line. Then we're printing 13. So we can see when we reach the end of the file, we're getting line having no value at all. So if the readLine function returns nothing, then that should allow us to stop. So if we're trying to do the direct equivalent of the Cambridge pseudocode, instead of using this EOF function, we can say something like, I don't know, line is none, and then we can iterate through the file, read each line, but stop the loop as soon as readLine returns nothing. And let's try now, and that will print the lines of the file. You will notice here that the lines in the file already have a new line character at the end, right? So we might want to use this technique of saying, okay, there's already a new line, so instead let's remove the new line from print. What else could we do? We could say .strip, that would take away the new line, and that would do the equivalent. This is how to do it in the Cambridge way of kind of imitating the end of file. What I want to show you now is that, we must close the file as well, which is a method. What I want to show you now is we can do it a Pythonic way instead, and it is literally just open the file, 4-line in file, print the line, and then close the file. That's how I would suggest doing it in a Pythonic way, because this is not an indefinite looping problem. There is a definite number of lines in the file, so it suggests that it should be using a for loop instead. Again, we've got the problem with the new lines, so what you might want to do is just strip each time. That's the direct equivalent. So it's very similar for writing to a file. Instead, I think we'll do that in the next video.